I've had little knocks, and rather than me sitting and moaning, you've got to get up and go to the next wrestling
Right.
show.
Yeah.
If I'm on the poster, if I'm on the
Yeah.
bill, I've got to travel.
Let's just say the name Wesley is quite famous in gladiator circles, isn't it? So, Mr. Two Scoops.
Believe it or not, I reached out to him just last week.
Right. 2024 got off to a flying start with the long-awaited return of Gladiators on BBC One. And it scored the biggest entertainment debut in 7 years with a massive 9.8 million viewers, including iPlayer catch-up. The likes of Sabre, Legend, and Diamond have become household names for a whole new generation of fans. But what about the contenders? What sort of reaction does a contender receive after being part of such a juggernaut of a show? Who better to ask than men's finalist Wesley Male? Wes,
Yeah,
thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I mean, goodness me. I mean, I can't
no
wait to
worries.
hear your side of the story on this because the show looks amazing.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. What an amazing show. I think we're all fans of it when
Yeah,
we were younger. And now we get to relive it, which is relive it with nieces, nephews,
yeah.
kids. It's amazing.
Because you've done, am I right? All I remember was that, I mean, for anyone that knows, I went up to watch a couple of the shows being recorded. And it just so happened that I went to the quarterfinals and I saw you in action anyway. And I thought, this guy's good. I mean, but then watching it on TV the day of the final, you were on BBC One on Breakfast Show as well, didn't you? So you've done quite a bit of media coverage with that. How's all that side of things been?
Yeah, that's been fun. With wrestling, I do a lot of my own. I'm my own manager. I haven't got an agent. I haven't got a
Right.
middleman. Nothing. The best thing has been the BBC. I've had a couple of people at BBC who've sorted everything out for me, told me where I need to be, what time, what I need to wear, what I can and can't say. Been perfect. So I've done BBC Radio Leeds, Radio Sheffield. I think I've got York, BBC Radio York coming up. I've The breakfast show was amazing. Got to catch up with the female finalists again. That was
Yeah.
great to see them.
Was that Bronte and Mary Louise, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bronte
Yeah.
and Mary Louise, because we've
Yeah.
all got quite a tight knit bond.
Yeah.
Um, that that time we all spent together in Sheffield Arena was amazing.
Think
We've all
there
got a
is
little
this.
WhatsApp group.
Yeah, do you know what? That sounds similar to what we had with Wipeout. I mean, God, with us, like it's 15 years ago, but a few of us are still in touch to this day. So you've
Mm.
probably, chances are, you've probably made like lifelong friends there, haven't you?
Yeah, just it's weird because you want to share things with people, but you don't want to put everything online
Yeah,
and spoil the magic too much. So it's like
yeah,
sometimes you can speak to people who are there,
yeah.
and even yourself, like when we're talking, people who were there at the arena,
Mm,
they know the thing that went on. So it's
yeah,
like that's fun,
yeah.
fun side.
Actually, do you know what? I've just thought of something because I remember how much I struggled from the point of filming to when the show airs. You're generally not allowed to disclose any results and stuff. How difficult was that
Yeah.
having to effectively keep your mouth shut?
Oh, very difficult, very
Yeah,
difficult. And obviously, with my background of wrestling, uh, rumors have got out in locker rooms that I think Wesley was on Gladiators. I think he
yeah,
was at the arena. So
yeah.
there were rumblings, and
Right.
I was quite humbled that a few people were reaching out to me saying, "Are you a gladiator?
Yeah,
Are you
that's
a
good.
secret gladiator?"
Yeah,
And I was like, "That's amazing that they
yeah,
think that I've got the skills to be the gladiator." But
yeah.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If anyone from the BBC is watching, I'm
And
available if you need a gladiator.
and if they need a contender next year, hi. I got to get in shape first, but yeah, we'll sort that out. Actually,
Oh,
out
we're
of
good to
interest,
go. You're good.
do you know what? It looks so much okay. Expectation, the old memes you see, expectation versus reality. You've seen it on TV.
Mm,
How did that compare, seeing it on TV to actually playing the events? Uh, What would you say?
wow.
Yeah,
I suppose I went into it with a different mindset. I was able to be present and really enjoy it because when
mm.
I walked in, I didn't have the stress or pressure of knowing I've got to perform next week
Ah,
on TV. So when I walked into
yeah,
the arena,
mm.
it's just like Christmas. I was like,
Yeah,
what? I've been in Sheffield Arena many a times to watch World Wrestling Entertainment, Cirque du Soleil,
right.
you Harlem Globetrotters, you name it, ice hockey.
Mm.
Um, and when I walked in there and you just saw all the kit, it was just like a playground.
Yeah.
Genuine jaw dropped open like this is unreal.
Do you know what? You saying that, I remember when because I had tickets. I saw your quarterfinal and one of the others, and I
Mm,
remember, going through the going in the concourse area, and then when you go through the doors and actually see the arena, I just looked at it, I thought, wow, they've nailed it.
yeah,
They've really, really nailed it, and it was
yeah.
just like the old
It was
days.
the whole experience. Just getting in a taxi and shuttled
Yeah,
over, you're wearing a lanyard. You're like, oh, I
yeah,
feel important. And
yeah.
you get to the backstage area when you walk through those gates. I've
Hmm.
stood at those gates as a kid
Yeah,
waiting for pro wrestlers to come out,
right. Yeah,
autographs and photos. So I was like,
hmm.
I don't believe I'm using the entrance that they
Yeah,
used. Then you walk through and
yeah,
like, yeah. So it was the whole experience. That I've been many an interview and they've all asked what was your favorite bit, thinking it'd
yeah.
be something I did in the show or when I beat Giant on Jewel.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was a
um,
win. It was a win.
but it was that initial walk in
Yeah.
was just I think everyone just made the same noise. Just
Yeah.
all of us just oh, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
So you were saying that there was you felt there was less pressure for you. So I assume when they because obviously everyone knows that people had to try out for it and do
Mm.
fitness tests, probably stuff on camera. When they eventually called you, did they call you to say that you're going to be on a standby contender, or is it you're in the pool of people that we might want to pick? How did that work exactly?
Yeah, I think they kept everything real hush hush quiet.
Hmm.
I've you just read the contract that they send
Yeah.
over and it said
Yeah.
yeah, the contract was standby. So I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
pretty clear.
Yeah.
Um, so I knew I was a standby, and I suppose they needed everyone to know anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone had 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
most
Of
of us
course.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I knew I was a standby. I knew I would only be available for certain dates. So
Hmm.
yeah, I knew I was a standby, and that took a lot of pressure off. It
Good.
definitely took a lot of pressure off walking in because I could feel the nervous energy in the room when everyone
Yeah.
realized, oh no, it's go time next week.
Because I remember, I mean, when I watched your quarterfinal, because obviously I didn't even know who the other contenders were at that time because I hadn't seen any of the opening round, and you just seemed to be taking it in your stride, and like you're racking up the points rapidly as well. I
Mm.
think wasn't it on what do you call it on the edge? Didn't they change the point system? Because you scored like 15 or 18 or something crazy high on that, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
I might be wrong. I might
yeah,
be wrong, but I'm claiming it. I'm claiming that there were rule changes left, right, and centre because of me. Um, I'm claiming it. I don't care what anyone says.
yeah,
I'm claiming that they changed the rules on the edge because of me and Chung just racking up the points
yeah,
and Gauntlet we were flying through. We were giving it. We were psyched up for some of
yeah.
those Gauntlet runs. So the rules were changed there that we had less time to get through,
Oh, that's
which
right. It was 30 seconds. They dropped to
yeah,
20, didn't they? Yeah.
and that actually does it gives you a little more stress in your head when you're about to go. Like, I
Right.
haven't got as much time, so I can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're already trying to protect your body, so you don't want to get hurt, but at the same time, you're like, I've got 10 less seconds, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll give myself a new moniker when I get to the wrestling world as
Yeah.
rule changer.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah. In fact, did you find did the wrestling background help, especially because some of the games are contact, some aren't. But did you find that
Yeah,
that helped with preparing, like either mentally, physically, that sort of thing?
yeah, a bit of that, a bit of the physical. No matter what little niggles you had,
Yeah.
like I've had little knocks, and rather than me sitting and moaning, you've got to get up and go to the next wrestling
Right.
show.
Yeah.
If I'm on the poster, if I'm on the
Yeah.
bill, I've got to travel over to wherever, Scotland,
Yeah.
Wales, down south somewhere. You've got to wrestle.
Yeah.
So I was just it wasn't until later in the show I realized, oh wait, if I want the physio to help me out because I've got a dodgy arm, I
Yeah.
can just ask him. So
That's not
again,
bad.
that
Yeah.
was
Because
me. I think I was still in standby mode, like,
yeah.
oh, I'm not important. Like,
Yeah.
you look after the stars, look after the
Yeah.
stars. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I need my body to be able to get through this as well.
Yeah.
So
I was just thinking,
yeah,
if you're getting free physio as well, you can't turn that up because physio is not cheap these days, is it? It's I don't know what it is around your area, but I
no,
know
yeah,
you watch the bank balance go down and down the more sessions you have. So,
yeah, we were well taken care of, well
yeah.
taken care of.
Oh, excellent. So, I mean, What was I going to say? Yeah, with how much notice did you get that you were because you were quite laid back, thinking, okay, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just on standby. How much notice did you get before
Mm.
you first competed until actually taking part? Was it short notice or a day or
Let's
two?
think. I think it was in the back of my head that I might. No, even when I did the tryout, I thought, oh, there's no chance. You know, you get like a little inkling, like I
Yeah,
did well, or
yeah. You sort of think,
even then, I was like,
yeah,
nah, there's no chance. I don't know how many. I've heard some ridiculous numbers. 20. I've heard 22,000 and 44,000. I don't know if
yeah,
44,000 was applications and 22,000 were ones that were looked at. I don't know. I've heard
yeah.
some crazy numbers.
Right, yeah.
But I I got a call. Actually, I think it was a 2 month prior when I got a call
Hmm.
to send in a bit more information.
Yeah,
I thought, oh, I think they liked the look of me.
yeah.
But then it just went radio silent. Didn't
Right,
hear a thing until maybe 2 weeks before.
right.
Are you are you available
Yeah,
this day, this day, this day?
yeah,
Wait a minute. What do you mean
yeah,
am I available?
yeah.
Then it's like, oh no. And
Yeah.
um the the timing for everything that happened along this journey process for me, I don't think it could have been any better for me. Not my physical state, but
Yeah.
it just felt on times where it's like if it had been a week prior or a week after,
Right,
I might have been in a different position. For
right.
example, the tryout,
Mm.
the initial tryout that I think a lot of the country took part in, a cheat code is a lot of. I've had so many people message me for advice, for advice, for
Mm.
advice. You've just got to be yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to record a video or do interviews and try and be the coolest person in the room. They try and, oh, I've got to be cool, I've got to be funny, I've got to be,
Right.
scrap all that. You've just got to
Yeah.
be yourself.
Yeah.
And I fell into that trap. I did a WWE tryout in 2017, and I fell into that trap of trying to be cool, trying to be the most likable guy, and it doesn't. It comes across all wrong. So when I had that initial tryout, when they called me to come do the tryout,
Mm.
I'd applied to be a gladiator.
Right.
I don't know if you were aware. Yeah,
I
I've,
heard
I've
that in
mentioned it to
another
you.
interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I applied to be a gladiator. So when they phoned me to say, we saw your application to be a gladiator. I think they'd already chosen all their gladiators.
Mm.
I think a couple might have been announced on TV by then.
Right.
Um, do you want to come and do a contenders tryout? Why not? And I thought, if it was any other weekend, I'd have had to say no
Yeah.
because I wrestle on the weekends. And the
Oh.
one weekend they chose was the weekend before I was flying out to Malaysia to go on holiday.
Oh my good. Right.
So I was like, when I looked, I nearly just said no straight away. And then when they said the date, I went, oh, I'm I'm pretty sure I'm flying out um to Malaysia from Manchester Airport, and went, oh, the tryout's in Manchester. So I was like, oh, perfect.
I'll do the tryout,
And
go on holiday. It's fine.
yeah, so I was like, oh, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And the cheat code was I went into that tryout so relaxed and
Mm.
so that when you're in holiday mode,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the cheat code. I was so relaxed and so like, oh, I'm going on holiday next week. If this doesn't happen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I just went into it with super relaxed, no cares in the
Brilliant.
world, just having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that came across, and they're like, oh, this guy seems pretty laid back and having fun.
Do you know?
That was just a fun little fact, a fun little with timing is everything.
Yeah.
My whole process through this journey, the timing with the tryout was the one weekend I was free
Mm.
because I was just about to go on holiday to Malaysia. So I was free that weekend, so I was able to do the tryout, then fly out from Manchester Airport straight after.
Right.
Perfect for that. When I was on the runway, just about to turn my phone off,
Mm.
airplane mode, everyone's going to sit
Yeah.
down.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a number come up, and I was just about to hang up because like, I'm on my holidays now, and I
Yeah.
went, "That looks like that looks like it could be something important."
Yeah.
Answered it, and they just gave me some follow-up questions
Right.
and some more physical stuff I had to do
Right.
to get through to the next stage. And then I was like, "Well, I'm in Malaysia. can you not get a gym out there and just
Yeah.
record it for us? And I was like,
Right.
well, okay, I suppose I have to. I
Yeah.
may or may have not been over when I recorded it, but but I got it done.
Right.
And then when I got back off the holiday,
Yeah.
I was in the middle of training to running the Yorkshire Free Peaks,
Hmm.
which I went over on Whernside and hurt my ankle.
Right.
So it was kind of okay, you just go over. I was like,
Right.
I think a little bone had chipped off, which I didn't know. So I
Okay.
just carried on, and then it swelled up again, and then I tried to wrestle and it hurt. So I went to the hospital, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, the bone's chipped off a little. You
Yeah.
need to rest for." They said, "Stay off it for 2 weeks, no running, no wrestling." I was like, "Okay," and
Mm.
that's when I remember I got the call that in 2 weeks' time,
Oh, God.
it's time to come to Sheffield Arena. So it was
Right.
perfect. Like I
Oh,
had that two,
yeah.
I had the perfect 2 weeks rest. So it kind of like made me stay off and conserve my energy a bit. So all my
Right.
other little wrestling injuries were able to heal. My thumb, my
Yeah.
hamstring, my Achilles, everything was able to recover just in time. So it's like I remember thinking, like, if this hadn't have all lined up,
Yeah.
you never know.
It's
I
like a
never know
perfect
what.
storm of events that all just happened to slot into the right place at the right time, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
For it to
If
happen.
I
Yeah.
actually, yeah, if I plot it all out
Yeah.
on the calendar, it's like
Yeah.
1 week here, 1 week there. I'd
Yeah.
have been probably in a different mindset, or
Right.
I wouldn't have been able to attend this or do
Yeah.
this. So it's just shows, yeah,
Phew.
perfect storm.
Wow. Do you know, you've actually reminded me of what I saw at some auditions in the past for like Wipeout, and you would see some people and it almost felt like they were trying too hard, and it
Yeah,
feel like they were being themselves. And I
yeah.
suppose if I could pick up on it, then the producers would as well. And I suppose, I mean, you've backed it up with saying just be yourself.
I see it all the time in wrestling. You
Yeah.
get people who are playing a wrestler, and then you get people who are just in the moment, present.
Yeah. So actually, I got to ask you quickly on wrestling. Have it because I only know one wrestler, and I'm just curious if you know him. Ricky Martin. Does that name ring a bell at all? He was a wrestler around about
Yes,
2009
yes, it does.
because he went on to
Yeah,
win.
I started
Yeah,
2011, but
right. He was called Ricky
yeah,
Hype, I think was his
I
stage
do
name.
remember any wrestler that
Yeah,
any wrestler that comes up on any show, come
yeah,
dine with me. This,
yeah,
this, this. It makes the circles in the
yeah,
wrestling
right.
locker rooms. Oh, have you seen so
Yeah,
and so's doing this? Like a lot of us are like happy
yeah,
that British wrestling or wrestling in
yeah,
general is getting a bit of a push onto
yeah,
the mainstream. So we all support each other and we're all happy that
yeah.
just wrestling's getting a further reach.
Oh, do you know? I'll tell you, he was a funny guy because he loved playing the villain sort of thing, and he just did exactly the same on on his show as well, and he just sort of played up to it. So I was like, as soon as I knew I was going to speak to you, I thought I've got to find out how much you guys know each other. So it's interesting. It's interesting to hear how word gets around. Because have I noticed now on the wrestling side there? Okay, I'll give you an idea. I saw a Facebook ad yesterday for is it True Grit? Is that one of the
Yeah,
wrestling groups you're
True
with?
Grit Wrestling. Yeah,
Okay, I was scrolling through Facebook and they've got a picture of you in midair, sort of launching, about
yeah.
to land on someone. The first comment I see, it goes, "Hey, it's Wesley from Gladiators." That
Yeah,
it's
I've seen that on a few wrestling
yeah,
posters, and I'm like, I, a part of me, a part of me is a little gutted that there's quite a few wrestling companies who I've wrestled for before,
yeah,
or I've clearly shown interest to wrestle for them. I've not
yeah,
took advantage of that and
yeah,
grabbed me over the next few months and just help push the wrestling. A
yeah,
lot of wrestling companies have reached out, to be
yeah,
fair, and it's just there's not enough time.
yeah,
There's not enough time in the month to perform or wrestle for them all. But
yeah.
it has
And
been amazing just
do you
seeing
get
that.
this? Are they going to be using the Gladiator side of things? Because I'm sure they're going to be putting you more on. They're going to use you for promotion more now. I would have thought with this.
Yeah, I think the main massive difference is I used to wrestle as Nsereko,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
which is my Ugandan given name because I was born in
Right.
Uganda.
Yeah.
And I used to wrestle as Nsereko, the
Right.
Ugandan warrior.
Yeah.
All this I'm rebranded now as
Right. Oh,
Wesley
okay.
Nsereko.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Wesley Nsereko.
Yeah.
As seen on BBC Gladiators.
Yeah.
That's me now for the for the foreseeable as I ride it out now.
Do you know what I think as well? Definitely keeping the name Wesley's in there because let's just say the name Wesley is quite famous in gladiator circles, isn't it? So,
Oh yeah,
Mr. Two Scoops. Out of
yeah.
interest, have you seen him on social media at all? Have you made contact with him or anything? Or
I've I quickly saw that his name was the first thing that popped up anytime anyone mentioned Wesley or
yeah,
gladiators.
yeah,
Um, I've watched lots of his stuff, watched him jumping over cars, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, here he is. I reached out, believe it or not, I reached out to him just last week.
Right.
Um, just just thought I'd send a friendly dig, like, oh,
Yeah,
last weekend I was so close to
yeah.
joining the club, and I made a joke saying I was going to call myself Wesley One Scoop, um, and only he can come back and say there's only one Wesley Two Scoops. But he said, do you know what? What he said was he didn't have. He just came back and said, as long as you tried your hardest, you are
Yeah,
a champion. And I
that's
was like,
brilliant.
wow.
Yeah,
Like I only said it just as a little joke, but when he
yeah,
sent that back, I was like, I have to keep reminding myself because sometimes I am hard on myself
yeah,
if I don't achieve this, I don't achieve that. But
yeah.
a lot of people have reminded me, like, yeah, I've lived a childhood dream and I did try my
Exactly.
hardest. So it's like you can only do your best, can't you?
Do you know what? When you think about it, how many how many kids, I mean, do you hear that they watch the show and then they want to try and replicate it? For them, that is the
Oh,
ultimate sort of dream. I mean,
so many. I've had old bosses reach out saying their kids are fans of mine now and they've been
yeah,
running up the walls.
brilliant.
All my
Yeah,
niece and nephews have
yeah,
constantly. Uh, I think my niece just went on holiday and
yeah,
her kids were talking to all the airport security staff
right.
and they were talking about gladiators and like,
Yeah.
oh, my uncle's Wesley. They're like, what?
Oh,
And then they're all talking to him, and it's like it's amazing.
well,
That's
it's just
that's that's been the best bit for me.
Well, I mean, you really have. I mean, the fact that I can literally chat to friends of mine now, it's like my best mate, his eldest daughter is 5 years old. Gladiators is now a favorite show. I haven't seen her recently, but I bet you if I said to her, she would know the names of you and a couple of the others as well. I mean, that's the sort of reach this thing has got now. You're a household name along with, with some of the Glads as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's so fun just to think that's even a possibility.
yeah, and I suppose really it's just, I mean, were you expecting this sort of response when you first tried out at all? Did they prep you? Did they give you any idea of what the response may be with the show?
No, I had no. I coming from the pro wrestling world
Yeah,
again. This might be another thing that helps me. Like I've been promised the world as
yeah,
a pro wrestler. You get offers all the time, like, "Oh, you're gonna come wrestle in
mm,
Dubai.
yeah,
Oh, here's a tryout.
yeah,
You're gonna fly over to America next year.
yeah,
You're gonna be a top star. Oh,
yeah,
do you want to come here? You might main event in Japan. This you never
yeah,
know. You never know what could happen.
yeah,
So you pick yourself up like, oh no.
yeah,
So I'm used to that. Like I don't expect anything no matter
no,
what I jump into. And the
yeah,
tryout was I bet there's thousands of people in the country who went to the tryout. You're
yeah,
just in a sports hall doing the tryout. Um I suppose the arena had an inkling,
yeah,
uh just because people shouting, but I'm in my head I've experienced that in pro wrestling where they're
right,
chanting your name. So
yeah,
it's kind of a bit of pantomime, a bit of
yeah,
entertainment. So it's like, all right, they're chanting because they want to
yeah,
be involved, they want to have
yeah,
a fun show.
yeah,
It wasn't until after it was all in the bag, I was like, oh, this is going to be on TV.
yeah. Actually, yeah. Do you find when you're competing, you kind of forget that there are cameras everywhere, don't you? Because
Yeah,
you're just focused on the game, aren't you? Yeah,
you, you only with the one thing with Gladiators is you are aware of the camera just
right.
because of that Wesley contender
Yeah.
ready, and you
Right.
go to the
Yeah.
camera, you're
Yeah.
like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's the only time
Yeah.
you're like, okay, oh yeah, there is a camera on me.
Yeah.
And that's where the showman in me was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna do something a little I'm gonna do this or that, which is sometimes I wish I'd just dialed in and just got
Yeah.
the job done.
Actually, do you know what? You've just reminded me of something else because you're familiar with competing, in the wrestling world, so you know the build up, to your events and when you're about to go. You've done like distance run as well. You've done like ultra marathons. You know about the start
Mm.
line, getting ready. with a show when you got cameras all around you, I mean, for me, I'm just curious, was that as nervous or was it more nervous in that sort of arena sort of environment? The only reason I ask is I was even though I'd done rowing and running for years prior, when I was standing at the top of the qualifier and wipeout, I've never been so scared in all my life. It was worse because it was totally different to what I was used to. I just wondered if it's comparable
Yeah.
with the Gladiator setup.
I think for me, the same with wrestling, the only time I get the nerves and the butterflies is like the day before or the morning of,
Yeah,
the lead up to it, all the anticipation.
yeah,
That's where it all gets me. And I think that's probably where all your energy gets zapped.
yeah,
Um, and then the second time, the rest of it, I'm enjoying it.
yeah.
I'm built for getting beat up or uh, running around, running into people. So the
Yeah.
events, bread and butter, I'll do that
I
all
suppose,
day.
yeah, it was like home from home for you, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, it was that lining up to the eliminator.
Yeah.
That is when it hit me. That was the only time I got emotional during the whole thing was
What do you mean when
the
when you walk out in the arena to get to the start line, ready to go on the eliminator? Is that a bit? Oh,
when what, sorry?
sorry. Do you mean when you're ready to run the eliminator? When you walk out from the arena over to where the start line is to get ready? Is that was the bit where it really?
Yeah, in the quarterfinal, I
Yeah.
remember I was just enjoying myself, having the
Yeah.
time of my life.
Yeah.
I was Even everyone was a bit like, "Where's you're so laid back and
Yeah.
chilled? Like, what? How are you smiling when you've just been smashed here and
Yeah.
there?" It's like
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is what I want to
Yeah.
do for a living."
Yeah.
Um, and then I think it all hit me when I was just walking out for the eliminator quarterfinal. I had quite a decent head start,
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
and I remember it all hit me, and then my eyes just started watering, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like,
Yeah.
I've, um,
Oh, hold on.
um,
Yeah. Oh, the camera's back. Yeah.
yeah. So it's my
That's
screen. It's telling me I've been on my screen too long. That's my screen time reminder.
again. Technology's telling
Uh,
us off.
yeah. And they all hit me. I think one of the producers pulled me to one side and said, "Just get it out of your system, get it." Because I suppose
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Everyone else got it out of their system, maybe in the heats or whatever.
Right.
So that was the
Yeah.
first time it all hit me and it all got real.
Yeah.
Um, Once I'd got it all out, unfortunately, it zapped my energy, which which hindered my performance on the eliminator.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got it out because
Yeah.
I felt so much better after that.
Actually, does it feel like more pressure when you've got a substantial lead over someone, knowing that you've got a head start? Does that feel more pressurized, feeling like, well, I'm expected to stay in front? I don't want
I
to. Is that
wonder
different?
there
Or?
must be yeah there must be a mental game to that, a mental
Yeah.
side of that, like going into long distance races.
Hmm.
If I know there's the best I've performed in an ultra marathon,
Hmm.
a 46 miler, I think I came 15th. I
That's
had
high.
no
That's very.
I had no business being that
Yeah.
high up because in my head I was like, oh, all these people are part of running clubs.
Yeah.
There's about there's about 50 people here who run full time. I'm just
Yeah.
doing it just for a laugh.
Yeah.
And so there's no pressure. So you just
Yeah.
go out there and it weren't until we got to the
Yeah.
business end. I went, oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
Exact same as gladiators. It
Yeah.
weren't until we got to the business end. I went, oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I'm doing pretty well here.
I've had this in the past with rowing races where sometimes if you know that you're not sort of expected to be at the sharp end, it's sort of quite relaxed. But then in other races, when suddenly it feels like the pressure's on because you're expected to either win a race
Yeah.
or be up on the podium, sort of thing, then the pressure can sort of mount a little bit. And I was just
Yeah.
wondering if it was comparable with the eliminator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly the same. But that's just me. That's my
yeah,
brain.
yeah,
I bet there's some people out there who love being
yeah,
in charge and
yeah.
yes, I'm gonna smash. Like I suppose that's the interesting thing about it, the mentality, the sports psychology, all that goes into it.
Yeah, loads of people have different approaches, don't they? In any sport, no matter what it is, everyone's got their own you sort of there's probably a handful of different ways of how people will approach it, and people seem to fall into certain
And I
categories.
think that's the one up that the gladiators have on any contenders going
Right.
forward or at the event. Like they might look all fun when they're all
Yeah.
dancing around when they win and
Yeah.
they've got some banter on the mic. I've got to give it to them. When that whistle goes, you
Yeah.
see their face, their
Yeah.
demeanor changes. You can.
Yeah,
There's a reason that they were chosen as gladiators. Like for them, it's like it's go time, and it's
yeah.
like they just
Actually,
switch it off.
I was wondering on Duel, are you genuinely like trying to steer each other out? You know, just before the whistle starts. Is that
Yeah, that
real or
I was just watching it back. I didn't realize I was smiling and just
yeah?
laughing the whole time,
Right.
and that was just me. Like, I can't believe I'm here doing this.
Yeah,
Genuinely, like, what is going on? Every
yeah,
time I can see me, I'm like, I can't believe this is going on.
yeah,
And then you see, and then I remember like looking across at like Giant, and he's just like his face hasn't moved. I'm like, all right, mate.
yeah,
Yeah, they're switched on. They're
yeah,
they're athletes for a reason.
yeah,
Um, they're there to get the job done.
yeah. Of course, they're going to have a bit more experience next year as well, haven't they? Because they've had all this practice from this series, and then they've got that to carry over.
Uh,
So,
hey,
yeah,
anyone who's signed up, bring your A game. They
yeah,
were good.
yeah,
They were good on this series. I can only imagine how
yeah,
much better, bigger, stronger,
yeah.
faster they're going to be.
It'll be fun to watch. I'm kind of hoping. I know a couple of friends of mine have applied, so I'm waiting to see if they get picked. I definitely want to go up and support them. I want to go and watch them. I'm not going to say
Oh,
their names on camera because I don't want to ruin anything for them at all. But I do know of a couple that have applied, so if they can get on, I think one or two of them could
I'll
be pretty good. Yeah,
I'll definitely be there at
yeah.
the next recording.
Oh well, if you're up there, I'll have to. If you do go up there and I end up going up, I'll have to drop you a message. And if we are, then
Yeah,
we'll have to catch up. So I got to
yeah,
ask
please do.
just quickly before we wrap up. Have you got what was? I'm sure you've been asked this question loads of times. Out of all the games you played, was there any particular one that you enjoyed the most, or personal
Um,
highlights?
Again, I love them all. Love them
Yeah,
all. I wanted to do Travelator. I wanted
yeah,
to do Duel.
yeah.
The Edge. I think I I took that on as a just because I knew that everyone was new to this game.
Mm,
So my mind was like, we're all new to this game.
yeah.
Everyone I think is going to be a little bit hesitant because we're at height.
Right. Yeah.
No one wants to get injured. So I was like, if there's ever a time for me to shine
Yeah.
and I go out in a blaze of glory, it's
Yeah.
the Edge.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'm gonna just run this as fast as I can. It
Because
ended up being great for me in
yeah.
the quarters and the semis. Ended up being my downfall in the
Yeah.
final.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember with the quarters, did you score? Was it like 15 or 18 or something that you scored on the edge? Was it maximum or
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely called the maximum on, yeah,
yeah,
18, the maximum. I didn't even know there was a maximum. They,
yeah,
they probably briefed me.
yeah,
Um, I
right,
just knew. I just went into that thinking I'm not going to stop. I remember thinking
yeah,
he's going to have to pull my dreadlocks out to stop
yeah,
me. I was just going to go hard.
right, yeah, yeah. Uh, so actually, what I was going to ask I mean, how busy is your schedule now? With moving on to the wrestling side of things, just to sort of wrap things up. I mean, how frantic are things now? Is it
Mm.
more busy now moving forward? Because I see some of your posts on Facebook and Insta, and it looks like it's quite a
Um,
busy schedule.
yeah, it is picking up. It's picking up. I've had a lot of people reach out
Hmm.
uh for bookings
Yeah.
all over the country, Midlands, Scotland, a couple down south now in London.
Yeah.
Um, and even some non-wrestling related ones of like a school disco in
Oh, really?
Leeds.
What, like personal appearance type thing?
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Um, and I thought, you know what, I'll take it all on.
Yeah.
I don't know when this will be put out. I don't know if I can put because I've got one coming up this
Yeah.
weekend for True Grit Wrestling.
Okay, for
30th
anyone,
of April.
we'll put a timestamp on this. We're recording this on the 9th of April. Ideally, I'm going to try and get this edited together in the next, probably in the next 3 or 4 days. So hopefully by this
All
weekend,
right,
I'll have it up and running. When's your next matches coming up? Is it this
I've got
Saturday?
I've got two this weekend.
Right.
More or less two every weekend now
Yeah.
up until it's filling up nicely.
Yeah.
I've got in front. I've got Leeds, Scarborough, Bradford,
Right.
Oldham, Leicestershire. The big one that I
Hmm.
probably
Yeah.
is I just had a meeting with some people in partnership with the Sheffield Children's Hospital,
Okay.
and hopefully there'll be a few appearances from a
Yeah.
few of Contenders. I've not reached out to them
Oh,
yet, but
excellent. Yeah.
we're doing a in partnership with them Theo Fest
Right.
in Sheffield for
Right.
PPW. That'll be 23rd of June
Oh,
is what we're
okay.
looking at. So
So what
that'll
if
be good
people
to
Google that, they'll be able to find the details for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll all be advertised soon. But yeah,
Right.
23rd of June just to
Yeah.
raise some money for the
Right.
Sheffield Children's Hospital,
Oh,
which
excellent. No, that's good. It's a good
I'm
call.
great at. Some things
Yeah.
have reached out. We're looking for. We're in the middle of trying to get sponsors, and
Yeah.
we've got so many ideas. And hopefully this will end up being an annual thing. So
Yeah.
this is something great
No,
that's
good.
come
Yeah.
out of Gladiators for me.
I mean, who would have thought when you first went to that tryout that the snowball effect of everything that's come since and continues to. It's
Yeah, because
yeah.
yeah, yeah, the tryout. You're just worried about will I be able to do? Can I do a burpee?
That's,
Will I be able to breathe?
those horrible things. Yeah.
You
They
don't even
always
think
hurt.
about. You don't think this far ahead, do you?
Yeah. Yeah. But no, honestly, I can't thank you enough for chatting about this. It's been great to hear it because honestly, I was hoping the show, would be a success. I never thought it was going to be as big as this. I mean, it's been absolutely massive. So to
Yeah.
see the response and all the hearing all the stuff that you're doing now, it's so great to hear because it sounds like it's every bit as big as what it was back in the 90s. So which honestly, in this day and age, I didn't think that was possible because everyone's so distracted by phones and social media and
Yeah, guys.
really up there.
Even I had to turn notifications off
Yeah,
during. Um, I'm only slowly just getting back into the swing of it now.
yeah.
Just getting random messages like, "Oh, where's you were on Gogglebox last week?" I'm like, "What?" Uh,
Oh yeah, I saw a
and
clip
just
of that.
just little
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
Just you just go, you're walking around. Yeah, just I was in Morrison's the other day, and the
yeah.
butcher just came up to me, like, "You Wesley?" It's like, yeah, yeah. So that's been so fun.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, because like it was different for us back in the day because we didn't really have that much airtime. So it was generally we talked about it amongst our mates and that was it. But so I suppose the sheer amount of
Yeah,
airtime you're getting on each episode, that's enough to get into the public consciousness. But that's pretty cool to go out shopping and stuff like that, and you're getting noticed.
yeah. I think I've got a distinctive look with the hair
Yeah.
and stuff, so I think that might help as well.
I think being 6'1" as well does help a little bit. You do generally out the
Yeah,
back,
yeah, it does help.
you're gonna be taller than others. In fact, do you know?
And all the wrestling posters.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've just thought at the last minute. Did I see something that you and Legends met up recently? Didn't you do some training week? Was it down at I don't know if it was on your
Yeah, I
Insta or on Matt's. Was it like
yeah, I jumped onto the Morsi Energy New Year challenge,
right? Yeah.
um, where he does that. I think he's on about doing two or three, maybe four a year. So
Right.
people can just sign up.
Oh, okay. Right.
People can sign up, and
Yeah.
you get to train. You
Yeah.
follow his training plan,
Got you.
his
Yeah.
his app,
Yeah. The
really good app, the
Morsia app.
Morsi
Yeah.
app.
Yeah.
Um, and then you get invited along to challenge days, which are
Oh, right.
mini
Okay.
tryouts in themselves.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if anyone wanted to test themselves to see if
Yeah.
they're ready for a,
That's actually a good idea. I
a
might have
kind
to
of
look
a
into this
gladiators
myself. Yeah.
tryout, it'd be
Yeah.
a no-brainer
Yeah.
because then you can do that, go along,
Hmm.
do the tryout,
Yeah.
and then you can pick his brain, and he'll
Yeah.
probably give you some advice on
Yeah.
how you can get on the show or do your own
Yeah.
little spin-off YouTube thing. And that was a that was a. I thought, oh, I just wanted to do it. I was inspired by all the gladiators. They
Yeah.
had so many kind words for me backstage,
Yeah.
and it was fun spending that time with them down there.
Yeah.
Oh, as much as I can get involved with these, I will.
Yeah.
So if I ever see them around at any events
Yeah.
around Yorkshire or anything I can get to, I'm definitely going to pop along.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Do you know, that was something that really, and I know a few other people I've spoken to, they noticed that on the show, everything seems so friendly. Like the contenders seem to be so supportive of each other. The gladiators very complimentary of contenders, that sort of thing, which was
Mm.
a really nice to see because I think that for me, it looks like a good role model for kids as well, to be supportive of, the people around them. It's
Yeah,
had that feel.
yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that as well. It could have gone the other way. I'm pro wrestling, so I
Right.
was full on ready for everyone to be the bad guy. I
Yeah.
was ready to fight them all on and
Yeah.
off camera. And then when it all got, it was. I liked about it was friendly competition.
Yeah,
It got competitive.
yeah,
We've seen a few big hits. I
yeah,
felt a few of the big hits, but it was done just as you would on the rugby field or
yeah.
on the football field. You all shake hands after, and
Yeah, it's like a whistle to whistle thing, isn't it? You know, once the whistle
yeah,
blows, game on, whistle blows, you're back, everyone's friends. That's what, yeah, yeah, it's nice.
yeah.
But yeah. Look, Wes, I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's been such good fun. I know you got a busy schedule because I think, have you got another interview this evening you got to do as well? Or is there, I can't,
There's a podcast. There's a podcast at
yeah,
7:30.
yeah.
If I can make it home in time.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I don't want to hold you up
We'll
any
see what
longer
happens.
because I know you've got to get. I know you got to get back. So literally, I honestly thank you so much for doing this. It's been great, great to hear.
No, anytime.
If you ever do any wrestling events down in sort of Wales or Bristol, Southwest area, just I'll keep an eye out for it or let me know because I'll come down and watch absolutely. Because
Oh,
because you're based
yeah,
in
definitely.
Leeds area. Are you Leeds, Yorkshire, around that area?
I'm in West Yorkshire area.
Yeah, it's about 200 odd miles away from me.
I'm
So
starting to get around. I'm starting to get around now. As I
yeah,
say, I've had a couple of Welsh companies that I
yeah,
might be. It's unfortunate. Everything keeps clashing.
yeah.
If everything wouldn't clash,
It would help.
there'd
Yeah,
be so much I'd be able to do right now.
yeah,
So if there's any, yeah, if there's any managers or agents out there that want to help me out with this,
yeah.
hit me up.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do for the YouTube, anyone watching on YouTube, I'll put the links to your socials on there because you got your own YouTube channel. Obviously, you got your Instagram, Facebook. I'll put all those
Yeah,
links in there. If
I
anyone's
need to get
watching,
much better at that.
yeah, if anyone's watching on Instagram, I'll make sure you're tagged in it so people will be able to find you that way as well. So because I'm assuming any events coming up, you're going to be promoting that. Is it predominantly is it Instagram or Facebook? Those are the two main sources you use.
Yeah, I more or less duplicate everything just to make sure
Yeah,
everyone can see
yeah,
where I'm at, where I'm going.
yeah,
I've got a backlog of Gladiator clips
yeah.
and stuff I
Excellent.
need to
Yeah,
throw out because
yeah.
I suppose I'm going to ride this until Series 2 starts. It's all,
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
It's so worth it. Well, God, with the amount of
I thought,
airtime you get, it'd be rude not to. So,
yeah, I've thought of all sorts, doing watch alongs and
yeah.
I've not fully watched the final yet because obviously I
Really?
was busy.
Of course, it's
No,
been so frantic, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I was wrestling at the time of the final. Um, I managed to get over just in time to all the contenders were watching it in Sheffield.
Right.
So I got over just in time before everyone might have had too many drinks.
So you mean on that Saturday, the other week, on that Easter weekend, you mean you had, because I know you did BBC Breakfast in the morning, so you had like a
I
wrestling
did
match and then watch.
I did BBC breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
Quickly went to the gym, did a wrestling podcast, and
Right.
then got over to the show in Selby.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I thought I was gonna have enough time to do all this. Um, because I was like,
The
oh,
eternal optimist in you. Yeah.
yeah, I thought, oh, I'll do this, get to
Yeah.
catch up with all the contenders
Mm.
until I got to the show and I realized, wait a minute, the doors don't even open on this show until 6:30. So the final was on.
Right.
The final was on
Yeah.
as I think as I was like getting ready, like putting my boots on,
Right.
um, someone came in and said, Wes, did you do a spinneroonie? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember doing that in the final. So,
Yeah.
so I knew that bit had aired.
Right.
Because I did there's an idol of mine, Booker T, one of
Right.
wrestler from
Okay.
WWE. He does he's got the dreadlocks. He does a
Right.
big celebration, and then
Yeah.
he spins and comes up all the theatrics. And I don't know what came over me, but
Yeah.
when I completed the gauntlet,
Yeah.
I went full in on it.
Oh,
It's the
brilliant.
last thing I should have done because I needed to conserve some energy. But
Yeah.
I thought if I'm going out in a blaze of glory,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Go for it. Well, like what you said in the quarters with what you call it with the edge, and then that worked out well, didn't it? So no,
Yeah,
you gotta do it.
just go with you. That's
Mm.
any advice I give anyone. Just go with your gut instinct. Go for
Yeah.
it. Enjoy yourself. You
Oh,
only get one
absolutely.
go at it.
Absolutely. Well, look, thanks again for everything you've said, the advice you've given for people who want to give it a go. So I know a couple of my mates, I'm sure they'll be listening to this as well, and they'll take that through if they get auditions later in the year. So
I
yeah,
wish everyone all the luck. I'll be there supporting. I'll be cheering.
excellent. Yeah. So all right.
Or
Yeah.
no,
Or
I'm joking.
maybe as a gladiator, who knows?
No,
Yeah. could be you and Legend and someone else taking people on in Powerball or something like that. Who knows? It could be that'd be a fun one to
Oh,
watch. Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. But you
If
never
I do,
know.
I'll definitely come
It's
back.
happened in other countries. You've had contenders that have become gladiators, in the following series. Australia did it, America did it. So you never
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's one little quick thing that my brain, when I saw the phone number come up, I knew
Yeah.
it was one of the people from BBC.
Right.
Uh, when I was a standby, but then I kind of thought, oh, I don't think I'm needed today.
Yeah.
When I saw that call, I was like, oh, they're calling me to ask me to be a gladiator. I
Yeah.
knew it. That's the first thing I went to. That's the first thing I went to. I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I was even looking around like, I forgot my gum shield.
Yeah.
Hello? But
So
it
who
wasn't.
knows? You never know. If you get another phone call from BBC, who knows? You could be called. You might get called back because there's so many combos. I mean, it's even if not as a gladiator, they do this in the old days. They used to do like a battle of the best sort of contenders. So they'd bring
Ah,
back. Oh, they used to. I remember in the last one in the 90s, they brought back either like finalists or champions, got them all together, and did like another little mini tournament against past, winners and finalists sort of thing. They've done that sort of thing. The Ashes, that was another one. Australia,
just as,
England. Who knows?
just as you said that, my palms have started sweating.
Oh no!
I need to get
Sorry.
I need to get back on training. Like
Yeah.
I've had a few pizzas this week. I need to save up.
Yeah, I've been having a few pizzas for a couple of years now. I got to really dial it back a little bit now. So that's why I'm not going for this series. I'll try next year. I need a year to sort this out. But anyway, look, Wes, thanks so much. I don't want to hold you up anymore because I know you've
Yeah.
got to get to this next podcast now. So honestly, absolute joy doing this. I can't believe how quickly the time's gone. It's just been
No, this has been massive fun. I'm
yeah,
well up for doing any more. If anything comes up in the future,
yeah,
or as I say, I do any crazy watch along or some more news
yeah,
comes out, definitely
yeah.
hit me up. I'm up for.
Awesome.
I love it.
All right, nice one. All right, cheers, Wesley. Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.